Welcome to Role Playing Games, Cassandra. We figured out your AC and spell save DC, which
Yes.
are numbers.
Do we have hit
So,
points yet?
hit points, that was the question.
That's the last one we're missing.
So it's actually based off your hit die, which is a D6. So basically you get 6 plus your Constitution, and you can't go negative with this, so it is actually going to be 6 at the lowest.
Oh, thank God. Okay, because we were gonna go 3 on that one.
I learned this during my campaign in some of the actual.
Oh my gosh, can you imagine having an AC of 6 and 3 hit points?
Other characters also have bad stats, so.
Okay, that makes me feel a little bit better, but I really hope at least one of them has good hit points.
I will say there are no tanks currently.
Oh shit. Okay. We are on the recruitment for tank NPCs.
True, there are tank NPCs about that.
They wander around. We just need to capture one.
Probably be okay. You have a friend. Yeah, I guess that's everything we needed. Wait, what was your HP? 6.
Yep, 6 hit points. I need like level -3 monsters.
True. Well, there are a couple other things, I guess, to note about this world. The way, like a lot of things operate are going to be different. So money and spells are no exception. You're not really going to be doing 2 spells heavily, still being at level 0. So it'll be very loose. But in general, it's going to be a bit restrictive. Basically, cantrips will be like a spell. There's no cantrips. So that's something to consider. But money also is like, when we actually play physically, I like to have little coins that we use. I don't have a great deal. So I figured out a system though. So basically 1 coin, like there's only 1 gold coin. That's like the smallest unit. And it is actually worth 10 gold coins in the D&D scripts manuals. So you can't actually like barter using money for something that's less value than 10 gold. You can. I mean, they'd give it to you, but then you've given them a ton of money. And they will give you other stuff probably as well. So that's nice. So 1 gold is kind of worth a lot. And, of course, peasants and stuff would just barter mostly with actual goods. So you can also do that very commonly in the culture, but pretty much all around the world. So, yeah, that's a thing. And then some good things to know. We'll just go ahead and hop right in here to the recap. Yeah, I mean, you have a good recap?
Oh gosh, it's been a couple weeks.
It has. It's been a while.
I seem to remember walking with my dad, because it hasn't been that long. Walking with my dad, he took me to the dungeon. He showed me, I believe it was an elf in captivity, right? It was an elven man, or was it?
It was a human.
It was a human.
You guys thought they were elves. They like had elven armor.
Yeah, we assumed elven, and we found a human who was batshit crazy, as far as I could tell. And I seem to remember there being something about me going away the next day. I do not remember the specifics as to why. I feel like it had something to do with my spell. I believe it was like the night before. I totally jinxed that. Rolled a nat 1 on that one. Oops.
Yeah, so that's a good recap. In fact, that's the part I didn't write down. So that was perfect. And then also, I would say there was, after a stirring performance of an ancient song that you performed at this coming of age celebration, Cassie unexpectedly cast a spell of light and brought at least great suspicion on herself from the Redland royal family. So witchcraft is not permissible in these lands by kind of grand decree from the High King of Farleon, not even from Redland. But so yeah, your dad, King Raymond, has suggested a plot and implemented a plan for you to disappear from the kingdom and a chance to make a life for yourself someplace else. Really a chance at life. So yeah, the year is going to be currently 1233, and it is summertime. It is late at night. You kind of just hung out in your room like for the whole day after that party. And we're just gonna pick up right there again. Your dad basically told you to wait for him here, and it's been a while, but you were crying, and you probably fell asleep when you woke up. Um, well, actually, you probably just fell asleep. You might still be sleeping. Um, but yeah, you are awakened quietly by one of the Riversdale Knights of the Word. He is a kind of a young man. You know him as Joseph. Um, so he whispers, "My lady, Princess Cassandra, my lady, shh, you must awaken. The king has sent me to meet you for a secret mission. You know that of which I speak, do you not?"
Yes, thank you. She's gonna like slip out of bed. Um, I assume she's grabbed her things. Like she essentially has a go bag at this point. I'm assuming she's grabbing that travel, like puts on some simple traveling clothes, grabs her bag, and follows him.
Yeah, you did hook up your bag with everything you needed. You basically
Yeah.
have all your possessions. You did that as soon as you got home before your dad even told you. So
Oh yeah, no, I was planning on running away. Like I wasn't,
yeah.
I wasn't keeping my ass here.
Um. So yeah, he kind of squeaks the door, kind of closed mostly, and he's like, "All right then, if you're ready, I guess we can be off."
I feel like as she's leaving the room, I think she runs to her writing desk and scribbles a note for her mother. And I assume that they'll probably end up passing their bedchamber, her mother's room, on their way to wherever they're going. If they do, she's waiting for a moment when she can like slide it under a door or something. She's scribbled a quick note, essentially saying, "I love you," and has a note for her sister in it. Like it's seriously like 30 seconds thought to run over and scribble something in like a desperate hand and kind of fold it, and has it prepared to slide it under a door if we pass their room.
You can absolutely, as you guys kind of just like creak out down the dim hallway. It is basically the dim of night now, but yes, you can totally slide that under the door to the chambers, kind of the queen there. The king's chambers are kind of right nearby, are connected inside. There's
Mm-hmm.
another door, but yeah, you can slide that under any door you want. And there's also another room for your baby sister, but she might be with your mom. She's probably 4 at this time.
Yeah, it's too small to read.
Yeah, you guys creep quietly. You can totally slide that under. And yeah, anything else you want to do?
No, I think that was the last thing on Cassie's mind to do before she left. She's been pretty isolated.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, as I mentioned, you guys are able to sneak out. There's no worries here. I mean, you can go ahead and roll a dexterity check for giggles. Sneak. The knight Joseph is like, quite sneaky.
That's a negative
Everything is
one.
going according to plan. Yeah, you definitely, if you want to describe, you probably trip and fall on your face.
Oh
Make those
yeah.
kind of noise.
I think I probably like drop my bag and it's like a heavy thump and like a part of it opens and it like clatters open and I like end up like just scrambling. I make up like making more noise trying to like quickly push everything back into the bag and just like just completely scramble the whole thing.
Joseph will go and help you collect some stuff there. I must hurry now. Quietly, quietly, my princess. And you guys are able to pick everything up, and you kind of hear some rustling in the castle from like a distant room, but you guys kind of uh, run down the hallway and get out the door into the dead of night in the middle of the night estate. The moon is glowing brightly. It's kind of like almost a full moon, and yeah, you guys go out to really close the southern gate where Joseph leads you, and there's actually another knight standing nearby who kind of opens the gate for you guys, nodding, and you guys are off. Anything else you want to do? Joseph, I will say, kind of looks at you as you guys exit.
Are there like horses or a carriage or anything, or am I just walking out with this other knight?
He says, "Oh, the horses. Nearly forgot. Um, we can sneak back in and try to grab one."
Oh, that sounds wise. Where's my dad?
Um, well, he's entrusted me to see with you on our secret quest. I, of course, look to your instruction now that we have escaped the castle itself. But um, he is in the castle. He has spoke with me recently. Why? Do you need to see him before we
No,
go?
no. I just had thought maybe he'd meet us. That's all. Um, so they're outside the castle and they didn't bring horses. Is that what it sounds like?
So
I was mostly just asking you, like, as a DM, like, are we getting onto horses? Do they just not have anything?
there are actually no horses, but Joseph does say, like, "Oh yes, right, we should grab some." And the door's not closed yet, so he kind of looks to his other knight, and you guys can go back in and make your way over to the stables if you'd like.
Yeah,
Grab
I
there's
think
probably some donkeys or.
I think we'd do that. Do you think would I have like my own? I want to say like my own pony. Would I have like a riding horse that I had myself, or would that have been?
I don't think you necessarily have a riding horse, but you probably would have like a pony or a donkey that you do like. So we could say that you definitely have a pony if you'd like.
I
And
can see that being something like a something to keep her occupied.
yeah, I wouldn't say like a full-blown horse. There might be one good horse here that you could take. You know, there are other horses, but some of them aren't here. There might be a night's party kind of out uh,
hmm
scouting at night.
Um, I assume she has something bigger than a Shetland, um, which are the smaller ponies. So she probably has like a larger pony because she is 16. So she needs something about her size. So it's definitely smaller than a horse, um, but would be able to keep up a little bit. So I think if she's traveling with this knight, she's going to go get her pony first because she's familiar with her, um, and encourage the knight, go get the other horse. I think we'll make good headway with them.
Okay, yeah, definitely. Um, all right, I'll go ahead and have you make a perception check as you enter the stables here. You guys are still.
Okay, it's not a one. Oh gosh, where is my? Oh, I haven't used one of these sheets in ages. I know where perception is. Okay, yeah, that's just a solid 7.
7. Actually, go ahead and make another sneaking check for me as well. I'll do,
Okay.
try to be a bit more quiet as we're going into the stables here.
That's a 3.
Oh dear.
I'm
Well,
trying so
doing a
hard.
bit better. You didn't fall over. He like grab you as you maybe try to fall over. We've got this. So yeah, you're able to grab your horse. Does your horse have a name?
Her name's Buttercup. She's a Palomino, if you must know.
Oh yeah, I definitely have to know. Um, that's beautiful. He also grabs, just like a brown horse from nearby. And yeah, you guys are able to then, I assume you're just going to jump on him and ride out the gates at this point.
Yep. Probably throw her bag into a saddlebag and.
This can be done. And yeah, you guys are definitely suited up and taken off. And, the gates will close behind you. You're only with Joseph. The other knight was just kind of at the gate. He seemed to know what was going on. It's kind of the vibe you got. But yeah, you guys ride off. As I mentioned, it is the dead of night. There are large fields, rolling hills, and farmlands surrounding the estate. It is dark and misty, a musky summer night. Once you guys kind of get like outside, Joseph will turn to you and he'll say, "Well, we've gotten off way from the castle there. What do you think? Where do we go from here, princess?"
Did my father tell me anything about his plan? Like, did he just like give me a plan to leave the castle and just no support after that, or did he give me like any idea of like a safe place to go? I feel a little bit like I've been kicked out.
Um, Yeah, you don't have much of a direction.
Okay.
He did say he was going to speak with you,
And
but
he
then he
didn't.
just spent the night. So
Okay. And the knight doesn't know what's going on. Would I have any idea of a general direction of people who might be uh, either like somebody who like a kingdom that's okay with magic? Because I know that I need to get away from people who are hostile to something I apparently can't control. Or even people around here. Like I think we mentioned something about a monastery of people that maybe would be more open. I'm looking for some kind of sanctuary with people that aren't going to try and kill me when I accidentally do something.
so as far as a sanctuary, the thing that would probably come to your mind is, well, it's a bit rough actually, because honestly, Farleong is, as far as you know, the kind of your known kingdom. And in all of Farleong, magic is outlawed. So the only place where it's really not is with the druidic people, kind of just like out in the wilderness somewhere if you're away from society.
Okay.
But, they're also creepy to you since you met that creepy guy. So those, I
Oh,
think, would
he was a
be.
druid.
He said he said some other creepy stuff
And
that
he
freaked
also
you
said,
out.
and he said he was a druid then.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah,
he
definitely.
seemed to imply it at least.
Well, if her impression of druids has been this very creepy
Well,
man,
no, he said it.
she's not go. Even if it's not true, like her impression, then yeah, definitely not going there. Um. So what I got from that is there's nothing
Oh, you
really.
do have definitely the map that the Elric Tanner boy stole so long ago, and you can definitely open that. It's the one that's called. Is it called Riversdale? I think.
I have one that says far long, and yes, Riversdale. I do have one for Riversdale. So
Definitely
pretty.
have this map already. You can slide that off. Yeah, perfect.
It's so pretty. Can I throw this out there? I've always wanted to do that.
That's fun, huh?
It is. Oh, that is beautiful. Can I commission you to make things that you're not supposed to see for our campaign? Just throwing.
Yeah.
Okay. Finding where I am, Riversdale. Pale Castle's definitely not where we're wanting to go, because that's where people that don't like me are. Oh God. She knows nowhere. Like I don't see Cassie as being the kind of person that just like, oh yeah, I'll just rough it in the woods. Like she would be looking for like a contact of some kind. Would she know of anywhere where maybe some of her mother's contacts would be that she could reach out to, like somewhere where she could stay? Or like is it really more of a there's really nowhere to go, you need to head out in the woods for a few months kind of vibe?
So I'll say there's definitely some information about, your mother's contacts. Um, I think in general, if you're kind of going out, she has contact with many maids, and you're probably going to run into some farmlands as you leave. And
Mm-hmm.
probably you'll know one of them, but I will say one or two specifically where you could head. And those would be there's one north and one south, um, kind of kind of a little bit to the east, I guess, both of them. Kind of just in the farmlands, kind of where it says Tyree, perhaps in small writing near Riversdale. Those are some farmlands. There's farmlands around you, just in every direction, though, which is part of Riversdale Kingdom. So yes,
Mm-hmm.
it would be pretty easy to find those, regardless of which direction you go.
In that case, I think she's going to try and move away from the Pale Castle. Tyree seems as good a place as any to kind of move away from both Riversdale and away from the Pale Castle. Um, I think that she's going to do her best to keep her head low and is just going to try and find a way to. She has no plan, I think is pretty much where we're at. Like, she has no idea. She thought she'd be given more guidance than this. She thought her dad was going to talk to her, and she feels like she's just kind of been pushed out of the castle and at least she has one person with her. Do you think, would she have some kind of amount of money on her or anything? Like, does she know she has something to survive on? Like, I just know she packed her, like, her personal bag. Does she have, like, a small stash of allowance or something?
So, I'd say as you kind of talking there with Joseph, you ask him several questions and you kind of get some vibes from him. Like, he is eager to complete the mission, although he knows it might take some time. It's a bit odd that you guys should go alone together, but he does, kind of request more information from you as to what to do next, seeming to think that you're better informed from here than he might be, but he's kind of your protection. But as far as money and food, he does have some bags as well, from some supplies and some gold that was given me for you that he'll hand over. You've got 10 gold. So, it's a decent amount of money.
Okay. Well,
that'll last you, you can definitely live on a gold for a while. So.
Okay. In that case, yeah, she'll move away from the pale castle and towards those fields, I suppose.
All right then.
I think lost is the vibe I'm getting.
So let's see here. Double check my map. So Terry, to the east, it would seem kind of the northeast. Although you could head, if you want to head southeast, more down towards Fox Grove. It kind of sounds like.
Yeah.
Just in that general direction.
Yeah, I'm pretty much just kind of just head west. Yeah.
Okay, west for now. Sounds good. Yeah, so that direction. So I was thinking east. Okay. West. Oh, very good then. Let's see here.
Yep. From Riversdale, I'd imagine she's going to look for the river as a landmark.
Yeah.
And just kind of try and follow the river, as she really only vaguely knows where she's going. She's never really left the area. She's just kind of going to cling to her pony and head on her way, I guess.
Yeah, sounds good. You guys can kind of go side by side for a time, and at first, you'll kind of take the lead, Joseph kind of following you, but eventually, if you want, you can kind of be following Joseph, which might make the most sense. But that's up to you. I'll let you decide.
I think either she'd be in front or probably side by side with him. I mean, he's kind of her only comfort at the moment, even if they're not they're not close or anything, just another human being. And she hates the dark and it's night. So I think she's actually going to be probably side by side with him, since they're trying to be sneaky and she can't light a lantern or anything.
Definitely. Sounds good. Let's see here. So, it is strange, although you've not seen him in years. As you're leaving the town, just kind of, it is your birth father, the old King Leonard's words that come to you as you're walking along your journey. In a memory, you overheard him once years ago from the hall through the doorway as he groaned, "Oh, this magic, or rumors of magic, can bring no good fortune to our small kingdom." He is speaking privately to your mother. She advocated, "What harm can it bring, since she's only a witch of light? If she be a witch truly, 'tis there no other name for such a person but a witch." But you run off. But the words still echo through time to you again. Magic. Magic can bring no good.
I think she's going to take a deep breath, and I mean, she hasn't stopped moving, but she's just kind of pondering on this side. Like, she's tried so hard to bring good, like, fortune and goodness to her family and to her lands. And she was getting a suitor, like, she was trying so hard. And no unsimple turns, she's fucked it up, and it's entirely her fault. It isn't necessarily. I mean, it's not something she could have controlled. But it doesn't like she still feels that it's her fault that she's brought not like I imagine like beyond like Mulan dishonor or like she's feels like she's truly destroyed a lot of hope that her like it's her fault. It's entirely her fault. And she starts kind of like this voice in her head just kind of says, like you should leave. Like try like there's like this part of herself that's trying to prevent her from even missing home at this point. Like, no, you should put this behind you. It's better if they forgot you. It's better if you have no connection to this place. They'll be better off without you, which is a horrible voice, but one that kind of echoes in her head as she rides away.
Okay, so this is intense, but as you know, you're just having all these thoughts, kind of just following the dim trail. It actually, the sun kind of begins to rise as well, which, let's see, is kind of behind you, I guess, at this point. But it does kind of begin to illuminate the trees, and if you glance back, you can see, the majesty above the Forgotten Mountains to the distant east, as it were. But yeah, what happens is you hear actually whizzing past your ear, like, whoosh, and kind of tinking into the armor, I suppose, of really this Joseph the Knight who rides beside you. Ah! And you actually feel a great pain as another arrow strikes into you, kind of in your leg, I would suppose here. So definitely take some damage from that.
Ooh. Well, I hope it's not more than 6 points, because otherwise I'm unconscious.
It cannot be, but it shall be lethal. Oh, not lethal, but 2 points of damage.
Okay.
So no small wound here.
I like to take hit points in D&D as percentages very often. So like this would be the equivalent of 20 points of damage if she was a higher. So third of her life force. Cassie screams, and she spurs her horse on with one leg, since the other seems incapacitated. And she searches around. Can I make a perception check to try and figure out where the arrow came from?
Yeah, definitely.
Unless it's like super obvious. Okay, that's a 10.
Yeah, perfect. I'll say, it's obvious enough for you. You turn around where the arrow came from, and you definitely see, what seems to be what you would imagine some bandits might look like, some Robin Hood folk on kind of like there's like some donkeys and just a couple men in the bushes, some with arrows. There's actually 2 of them with bow and arrow, one with a sword who's kind of running at you now. Ha!
Cassie, I don't have spells for her yet, right? She's level 0, and she has nothing. 0. Okay, she's going to
just have your knight.
No, she's gonna scream and try and run away desperately.
You can definitely spur on your horse and just ride on. Immediately, Joseph will kind of flank behind you and, be like, for the princess! Back, you rogues!
Joseph!
Get out of here, man! He's gonna, try to hold him off as you go on, though, it would seem, if you're glancing behind you as your horse is going past. So, I'll go ahead and have you go ahead and make a, do initiative, but also do a dexterity.
Okay. Well, fuck. My dexterity is -2. That's a little bit better. Let's see. I really should actually make this character sheet usable. Give me a second while I get my... Where did initiative go? I believe in this. Initiatives... Do I have a plus to initiative? I don't think I do I? That's not... Gosh, I haven't used one of these sheets in ages.
I'm gonna double check here.
I don't think I do, to my knowledge. I'm okay with just using a flat roll for it for now, but...
It's actually I think it's your proficiency, but for now, we'll just say you don't for level 0.
Okay, for now, 13.
Um,
13
so
initiative with a
13.
-2 dexterity save.
Hey, not
I don't
bad.
know how I ever rode a pony in the first place.
Uh, seeing behind you in this case, this kind of uh, bandit riding through the darkness kind of seems to get into a locked little bit of a sword fight. He doesn't have much of a knife, this bandit, but Joseph kind of whops out this sword that he's got on the side of his horse, and they begin to clash weapons. As your dexterity, let me see here. Did you roll dexterity? Or was that a
Yes, I
strength?
rolled dexterity. That was a -2.
N-
I have a
Negative
-4.
two?
I have a -4 to dexterity. I have yet to roll a positive number.
Oh my gosh. So it wasn't a natural one, though.
No,
It
it
was
wasn't a natural
good.
one. A
Okay, or
dirty
-2.
-2.
Okay, well,
Yeah, like there's
I
nothing
mean,
like
what's
you.
worse, a natural one or a -2? It's a natural one. So
Yeah,
take
yeah,
solace.
that's fair.
um, you,
Are you
yeah,
allowed to be
it's
nice to me?
it's
Like,
definitely something bad has to happen. I have to consider. Like you're not gonna fall off your horse, I wouldn't say, but maybe almost. Like you might
yeah,
be able
I
to
can see
kind of
that.
maintain, but you go off the road into the bushes, into the trees, and now you're
Um,
just kind of like trying to steer
I
without.
if you allow me some input here, as someone who's rode horses, um,
Yeah.
her girth strap can come loose, which is terrifying. It means that your saddle goes sideways.
Oh yeah.
And I can imagine,
Up or
like, maybe it
down.
doesn't go sideways all the way, because that usually means you're
Hmm.
actively falling off your horse, but it's loose enough. And so, like, maybe she, like, turns sharply to see something, and her saddle twists. So it's steady, but now, like, instead
Yes.
of being on top of her horse, it's, like, quirt. And so she's, like, trying to ride, and that would easily make it hard for her to steer straight. So I
You'll
can easily,
say
like, running off into something.
I like to use both of these in tandem here. So, as you were already looking back, you hear, the strap kind of come loose and it starts to go a little bit off, and you inadvertently kind of go off the road into some trees, which, might offer you a little cover at least here. But you definitely are going to have to try to gain control of this situation again. The clamor of this battle is a bit out of sight, at least for the moment, but go ahead and make. You could do like a strength or a dex check at this point. You can choose.
Well, they're both -4, so
Okay, well, so it doesn't
we're
matter.
gonna
Go ahead
roll
and
for it. That's a
describe whatever
4.
you.
That's a 4. Um, is there still someone right behind her, or is she like run away
No,
far enough that they're not right behind her anymore?
you can't see him for now, just mostly because you're off in the woods. They're behind a few trees. They're also a bit behind you. Like you've made a decent distance here of, probably close to 30 feet.
Okay, I think that she's gonna do something that I've tried to do on a horse, which is not usually very effective. Without dismounting, she's going to try and push all of her weight into the other stirrup to try and right the saddle again. Like she doesn't have time to get off the horse and retighten her girth strap, but she's going to try and put the saddle right way up again because it is kind of sideways. So she's
Just
gonna
like with your
kind of,
weight.
yeah, all of her weight onto one stirrup to kind of straighten out her saddle. Um, she's gonna she can't help him, and bringing attention to herself is just gonna make things worse. So I think that as quickly and as quietly as she can, she's gonna try and kind of calm her horse down and slow down a little bit. Um, and staying to the side of the road instead of on the road, she's gonna try and parallel it, kind of trotting through the trees, trying to keep her horse steady. I imagine the horse would probably be kind of freaking out. Um,
Yeah.
this is a riding pony,
So,
not a battle horse.
as good as your idea sounds, you're probably not going to make a lot of headway with that roll,
That's
but you
fair.
can also make animal handling for the second one.
She's gonna try. That's what she's trying to do. Okay, we're gonna try a new D20 after this. Um, that's 4 on the die. Where'd my animal handling go?
Not bad idea.
Okay, that's just a 4. I don't have any plus or minuses to that. Okay, that die, that one's on timeout now.
You got a straight up 4 again? Okay.
Just a 4.
I mean, these are not good rolls.
No, no, they are
So
not.
let's see here. You know, in general, your horse doesn't necessarily calm down. Um,
She's a flighty pony.
and you know, you're still kind of sliding off, I would say.
Yeah.
Not really sure what to do here. Let's see. Double check.
I'd imagine even if she couldn't get completely like righting herself, like she's still gonna try for that thing. Like maybe she tries to right her saddle but doesn't succeed. And her horse is still kind of freaking out and making a lot of noise and not going the direction she wants. But she is going to try and leave the scene of the battle, even if she's not actually making good headway or her horse isn't
Yeah.
calming down.
You're definitely able to at least your horse keeps moving and you're getting, you know, away from the battle. However, you are going kind of off the trail into the woods as well. You're actually not able to control super well because your saddle's going to actually be sliding over and eventually you do
I am
fall
going to
off
fall off.
with the
Yeah.
saddle and the horse rides a distance further, possibly out of sight here. So you're just kind of middle of the woods.
Okay,
You know,
so
I would
I have
say maybe 60 feet from where you were with the battle on the road.
so
Not
my
like
saddle
60
has
feet in the woods, but total,
so
maybe
like my
50 feet.
saddle like my girth strap just hasn't just loosened, it's completely unbuckled and I'm now sitting on the floor of the forest holding my saddle.
Your saddle, yeah, you're holding it with your legs there. You slid off. Yeah, the strap came totally off. Um, so yeah, I guess
That's
it
what I
is
get for
really
rushing.
whatever you want to do. It was
Um,
night, you know, maybe
yeah,
something happened.
should have known to poke her belly and tighten it. That's the trick. Um, I think uh, Cassie is going to make a wild grab for her belongings from her saddlebag. Like she can't take the whole saddle with her, but like she probably has like some kind of saddlebag that she's put this other bag in. So she's going to make a wild grab for those. Very much rushing here. Um, and she's going to kind of tear off in the direction of her horse. She can ride bareback, and I think that's kind of where she's at right now. Where like even if she can try and get Buttercup, then she'll be a lot faster. But Cassie's calculating in her mind like how long do I try for Buttercup before I just run away?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you can definitely head off. Try to catch up to Buttercup. And try to grab your thing as well. So, I mean, these are dexterity
And do you
checks.
really want to make me roll? Like how?
Go ahead and roll your dex. You got 2 dexterity checks there.
Okay, we're at new D20 here. That's a 4 on one of them, and a 2 on the other.
Okay, so the good news is, I will say, most of your belongings are attached to your main saddle, I would say, and fell off. There's maybe some other stuff attached to your other bag there. Might be, I don't know. I don't want to say it's your gold, but
Oh, I'm missing a few
there's
things. We can leave
there's
it there
stuff
for
on
now.
there. We'll leave it there for now. And yeah, you're running a bit slowly there, and I don't know, what, you're wearing your nightgown, but that's where you're at now. Anything else that you want to do?
um, I mean, she doesn't want to go back to the battle. I think she feels and is completely unprepared to help. Like I as a player, I know nothing she can do to help in a battle, in any kind of battle right now. If she had some if she had some battle prowess with her, like her fists, that would be something. But she's regularly getting negative numbers on her dexterity, and like she would be more help or more harm than good.
You
And
could
I think
try to,
she knows
blind them with some flashy lights, maybe. Attempt
that.
to channel.
That's something. I think that she's definitely focused on running away, though. I can't imagine that she's in a state of mind in which she'd turn back and fight. Like,
That makes perfect sense. No.
just,
Um, I mean, in general, you're not under immediate duress. You are eventually able to take a 10 and just kind of run off and try to catch up your horse decently well. I don't know, get off to a bit of a slow start there for sure, though, with the 2, obviously.
yes.
So let's see what your horse is doing. Dude, he ran really fast and was freaked out, it would seem. But you know, eventually maybe you hope that he chilled out somewhere. So you keep making your way along. Go ahead and make a perception check for me.
So I can't find my horse. Okay. Hey, that's a little bit better. Okay, yeah, that's a 17. Highest roll of the game so far.
Yeah, as you start to hear some songbirds as the sun kind of rises, it gets a little brighter. You hear for sure the trickling of a stream that you imagine must eventually lead to the river that you were nearby as you set out. Um, and the trees are it's full summer, so it's a beautiful day. There's like wisps in the air as the morning lights slant through the leaves, but you definitely hear this stream. But yeah, that's about it. You hear some wood life, some chipmunks, things, but that's really
How
everything going on.
how long has it been?
Not too long. The sun is just rising. It's definitely gets a bit brighter during this time, but maybe like I wouldn't say too long, like 5 minutes.
Okay, because
10
I
minutes
think
as you're
like
walking along.
okay, so I think she's definitely gonna run away for a while, but I think if it has been a while, she would probably go back and try and look for Joseph. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, she'd follow the stream, find the river. I mean, if it's only been a few minutes, she's definitely like hasn't changed her mindset. She's trying to get
Yeah.
away. It sounds like she can't find Buttercup anywhere.
Yeah, you haven't seen any sign of her yet. Actually, with a good perception check, I would add you are able to find this stream that you're looking for,
Mm-hmm.
and you will find some footprints you imagine are buttercups. So you can
Okay.
follow those.
I think
And,
she'd like to, like, definitely. She's gonna try and find her horse again.
more time passes as you just kind of set out through basically the Dale Wood, the side you're on. Probably another 10 minutes. So it's been 20 minutes, I would say. And then you uh, eventually see Buttercup drinking from the stream off in the distance ahead of you.
I think Cassie's gonna call her like Buttercup, Buttercup, trying to like. I think that I mean it's her pony. She probably would have like a call set up. So she's probably gonna click for her, um, praying and hoping that the horse actually listens this time.
I mean, I
Um,
guess you can do animal handling, but it's probably
I mean,
oh,
yeah, it's probably gonna be shit, but you know. Oh, that's a nat 1.
I was gonna
Fuck.
say, unless you roll a natural one. She seems startled. She
Shit.
trots off into the distance away from you
Uh,
further. You can see where she's going though, so you can definitely,
yeah, I've done
try
this
it
so
again.
many times in real life with real ponies. Honestly, that's fairly accurate to what happens. You call
Yeah,
them
I
and they're
mean,
like, nah, and they walk away.
to be honest though, you can also take a 10 as you are able to see where she's going. You can catch up, try it again. It's going to work eventually, and you
Yeah.
can get your horse back.
Okay. But it probably would definitely, yeah, take more time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so probably been at least 30 minutes or 40 minutes,
so she has Buttercup back. I
maybe an
don't think
hour.
she's going to mount. I think she's just gonna like lead her by her reins. Um, Whatever has happened with Joseph has probably happened at this point. So I think she's going to make her way back to the road if she can find it.
Yeah, let me try to see here as well. I've kind of been searching 40 minutes. And you're going to go to the road. Nice here. Nice. Um, so, yeah, go ahead and I would say, oh, I did have a question about your saddle and stuff. You left your saddle behind and just took all your bags.
Yes, she tried to take her bags because she had like a bag packed, and I had imagined she'd taken that bag and like put it into her saddlebag. So I imagine there would have been like a bag inside of her saddlebag that she would have tried to take out. And it sounded like she definitely like a few things spilled out when she fell. I don't think she
So,
knows where her saddle is. I
yeah,
wouldn't imagine. Like it probably just somewhere in the woods at this point.
that's the impression I got. So, yes, you have everything but your saddle.
Okay.
And you're going back to the road. So, go ahead and make kind of, I guess, it's like a survival or
Okay. This guy's last chance.
using
That's a
that dice
nat
again.
This is a new one. This is the purple one. The one who was rolling like all those negatives.
You got a natural one again?
That was a natural one again on this one. Oh my god.
Oof.
I'm gonna start breaking into my husband's D20s. Maybe this is Cassie saying she needs her own dice.
You cannot find the road.
Oh my god. Of course I can. Of course I can. I am a noble's daughter in the woods. This is not my element. I don't know what I'm doing. Why am I here? Cassie starts crying. She gets lost and she starts crying. And not quietly. She is sobbing. Her horse is probably sweating and gross, but she's gonna like kind of hugging onto her pony, looking for the road, crying. Life is dramatic.
Oh. All right. I inspired an interesting scene here based off the die roll. I rolled a 17 and an 18. And 18 was the friendly one, so this is what happens. After a short time of crying, you do hear some loud ruckus in the woods. Some figures approaching, it would seem. Not sure if you probably might stop crying, might be startled, try to check it out. You can if you want. I don't know. What do you want to do?
I mean, if there's figures in the woods, this is around the spot where she's probably going to assume they're bandits. Like the same bandits that captured her. Like she doesn't know if Joseph survived. So, I mean, the fun option or the accurate option to what my character would do, I don't know. Why not? She's gonna check it out. Sure. She is just desperate for hope that maybe it's Joseph. Maybe it's Joseph. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. She's
I will say, let's see. I mean, you're probably scared of the sound, to be honest. So I don't know if you can go check it out. But you can make a kind of how does fear work? You make a Constitution check for now, and we'll see if you're too scared to go that way or
not. That seems fair. Well, I got an 18 on the die, but
you're not scared. You don't give a fuck. You're like, if I
that's
die
about a
today...
16.
Just kidding.
Just about a 16. I think that she's definitely scared, but I mean, she's been wandering around the woods with no help and not knowing where she's going, and so I think she kind of steels herself and says like, well, I think somebody is better than nothing right now, and I would rather find something bad than be lost in these woods forever, which is what it feels like it's happening right now. I can't find my way out. I'm lost. I'm scared. But I think that somebody is better than being lost. So I think she kind of takes a deep breath, tries to wipe away her tears. And I think she might get onto Buttercup to try and make a quick getaway if it is the bandits again. But she's desperate. So I think she will check it out, but trepidatiously.
Okay, so I will have you these figures, they seem to be approaching fast. You hear some mumblings and cracking of branches. To get on your horse real quick, I'll have you do a dex, but also do a perception for me.
Okay, this dice was nice to me so far. Hey, okay. It's a 15 with a 15 dexterity.
Get on your horse.
And perception not as good. My perception's an 8.
So, I won't say too much more about your perception. You definitely hear these figures as you kind of tentatively go and see what's over there. You see two things at once through this small clearing. Several figures approach, kind of to your left side. This bandit who you might have saw earlier with a bow kind of pops out. You might see some other figures behind him, but to the right side, you do see kind of the worried knight, Joseph. Cassie, princess, where are you? Come here.
Joseph!
Careful, they're right behind you.
She's going to spur Buttercup into a trot and try and get to Joseph.
He'll draw his sword as well, and the bandits will kind of take aim. You see through the trees, there's two of these bandits here with bows, and they're kind of both attempting to aim at you. Probably not too successfully, honestly, as you're riding over to him. One takes a shot at you and misses. You can get behind Joseph though, who is drawing his sword and saying like, stay safe behind me, princess. I can handle these ruffians. Just stay safe. All
I
right.
think, yeah. I think this is where Cassie tries. She's gonna like put her hand out and just believe with every part of herself that she wants these people to go away, and try and channel whatever it is that fucked up her life.
Nice.
And equivalently, she's gonna try and essentially cast light. Though if she had actual spells, I think that her desire for them to go away would probably translate into something like a fear spell. But she has absolutely no training and is level 0. So I know that she can cast light. She's going to try and channel this want for them to go away, to be blinded, just to disappear, and kind of just throw that energy at them.
Yeah, and I would only add, you don't know anything. You can attempt fear if you want.
Yeah.
However you want to do it. If you want to do light, that's totally cool.
Okay. Am I gonna have to like roll an Arcana check or anything to try and like succeed at either of these?
Yeah, you're gonna roll dice to try to succeed either.
Okay. I think she's gonna try for a fear spell because I feel like that is the simplest, like the direct translation of what she wants. Is my thought. If it comes out as a light spell, that would make sense. Since that's so far the only thing she can actually do. We're gonna roll an Arcana check. Well, that's definitely not great. On the bright side, that's the only thing I have a plus to. That's an 11 to try and cast some kind of fear.
11. Okay. So, not amazing.
Not great.
Essentially, I'll say, you do feel some magical energy that you're trying to well up inside of you, but it basically just fizzles and nothing happens. But the knight does say, "Go on then, steal into the woods, my lady. I'll be after you in a moment. Don't stray far."
Okay, she's just kind of gonna squeak, and
hide behind a tree.
She's
run
gonna
off towards them.
Yeah, and she'll take Buttercup in the opposite direction and try and find a place to hide. Can I make a perception check to try and find a very large bramble or something to hide behind?
Yes.
A ways away.
In fact, you can basically find a bramble pretty easily. There's some thickets throughout, but yeah, you're not going to find anything much actually with perception check. You can do kind of a sneak, although you're probably going to be pretty protected here, even if you're not very sneaky. Okay. So,
well, my stealth was a 10. I already rolled my die for whatever check, I guess.
Yeah.
So that makes my stealth a 10.
You're able to sneak pretty well there, and you see this battle ensuing, hiding, behind trees and the thicket. The arrows that do fly past and seem to miss, perhaps the knight Joseph, are not going to deal you any damage, so you're good. You do see that eventually this knight Joseph is able to strike down these bandits, and slaying one, perhaps sending the other running, he'll turn around and say, "Oi, are you all right there, princess? They've gone."
She's gonna kind of step out from behind this bush, limping, I assume, horribly from an arrow through. Is like her arrow's like through her calf? Is it like there's an arrow still lodged in her calf, or are we talking like it grazed her? I mean, it is a third of her hit points.
I think it's in your leg. I would say calf is reasonable, and yeah, I do believe you've left it there. So that's going to be hurting. Probably you've taken another damage.
Okay, another point of damage. That's valid for for essentially bleed. Okay.
But Joseph will definitely say, "We need to take care of you," and he'll say like, "Just your teeth on this, give you a log to chew on there, a little twig or something."
Oh God.
He'll go ahead and pull that out.
Fuck. Yeah, break the shaft, pull it out.
Slap your leg. No, just kidding. He will bandage you up though. He tries to do the best he knows how.
Okay,
Here,
medicine check. Um,
I mean, if you want to do anything, you certainly can.
I don't think she'd have any herbs or anything to actually help with like healing at all. I mean, I hate to say it again, she is silently crying. That's how 16-year-old girls react to this kind of situation. She didn't make any noise when this happened. She just silently crying in pain and terror. This has been probably the worst 48 hours of her entire life.
One day you'll be an adventurer, and this will all be story built.
Right, one day this
Hopefully,
will be my
let's just
backstory.
die. But
Thank you, Joseph. God, I'm glad you're okay. I'm not. I don't know where my saddle is. I'm not. I would rather not stop for the night, but I'm not sure how well this will do on horseback. Do you know where your horse is?
my horse is near the road, not too far. He should still be there. We ought to go find him. Oh, are you good to walk?
I mean, no,
You
but
can
I
ride.
I will.
Um,
I'm
Here, sit on your horse. I will guide you through the woods.
okay.
It'll help you up on if you want.
Yeah, she'll need some help. And she kind of just clutches to Buttercup's mane, and uh, she's in shock, solidly in shock, as he takes her to the road.
So we must find a more talented herbalist healer for you. This is very bad. Seems to be, I'm not sure, swelling.
I don't feel so well. Yeah,
We will find someone.
that sounds like a good idea. I'm feeling. I assume she's feeling a bit lightheaded here. Um, I mean, that's half her hip. That's half her hit points. She's lost a bit of blood, even though she's been bandaged since. Shock does that to you.
At least you won't take more damage.
Yeah, I
Bleeding.
think that she just kind of like starts drifting off into shock is probably what ends up happening. Like she's still definitely like not passed out, but she's probably like just going to grab onto, like I said, Buttercup's mane and just kind of hold on and be like half there as her body kind of goes into shock. She's starting to feel lightheaded, and she's just gonna let Joseph lead on this one, while he tries and finds his horse and a healer. Heck of a way to leave a castle.
It's true. Well, okay, so here's what I'm gonna say. Check something here. So you will eventually, as you're riding through the woods on the path, you're aware that you guys are able to find um, Joseph's horse, and you guys can kind of trot off at a better pace. But as you said, you are pretty out of it, um, and pretty stressed and wounded. I'm gonna say you basically fall into not really a sleep, but like a trance-like sleep. You're able to rest a
Dissociation.
little.
Yeah.
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 Um,
I imagine that once her body is more used to the stress of fighting and adventuring, this would not be such a big toll. But I imagine as someone who's never experienced this kind of trauma, essentially, that's probably why she's reacting this way. She's just never been in a fight before, never been injured before. Kind of a big deal. Biggest injury of her entire life. So, yeah, she essentially, yeah, I imagine her resting.
okay, so yeah, this is double check. Sorry.
Oh, no, you're fine. Take your time.
Yeah, as you kind of drift off into this trance-like sleep, You have this dream. It will be, you have this ominous sense. It is the dream of a dark sorcerer in a strange and magnificent castle set below a large mountain of black smog. A young prince rises to the throne, smoke and fire. He laughs quietly to himself, people bowing before him until you lock eyes and the world fades away. You recognize him for a moment. He's the young prince of Redland, for whom you were almost betrothed. But wait, his eyes glow red, and his features are distorted from the short frame and pudgy-nosed form you recognize into a long, lanky, hook-nosed warlock. This wicked king seems now to have returned to his true form, as he was when you first saw him, not Nerwin, the prince, but some dark sorcerer of mind who seems to even now be seeing through your very eyes, although you're not sure how you know that. But you do know that you very badly want to visit him in this dream. As you begin to realize this is a dream, yet you want to visit this distant castle to the west, to speak with this dark wizard, although it scares you. His eyes beckon you, his cold blue ominous eyes. He is an elf, it would seem, but you're not sure. All these thoughts fade away into darkness, and you are left, very scared. You feel this is some wicked dream you've had.
Cassie's disturbed. Solidly disturbed and disoriented. Not the pleasant dream she'd hoped for. Are they able to make any headway?
So
or technically the rules of D&D are that after a long rest she'd regain her hit points. It seems more like we're actually looking for a healer. Like, I don't know how you want to play that.
Actually, in fact, this dream has completely taken you into kind of like a restful sleep. You are not aware of reality. The only other thing I would mention is you kind of lock eyes with that dark sorcerer as you're dreaming, and he seems aware of your presence as well.
Creepy.
But when you awake, yeah, it's kind of the end of the dream, and you're like, shit, he's looking at me now. But you wake up, and actually you are on a bed. You're being seen by kind of this old lady, and you see off in the doorway the figure of a knight, recognized as Joseph. So it seems you did manage to find some herbalist or healer. You're being kind of wrapped up, and you regain your consciousness here. So, it will be sort of a short rest. So you're probably going to regain all your hit points. Yeah, you regain 3 hit points, I'll say. So you're maxed out.
Okay.
You've definitely still got a bit of a wound on your leg. Like, I wouldn't say you'd be able to run full speed right now, but you're pretty much feeling a lot better. You've got like some medicine, as well as just you're already wrapped up. Essentially, get wrapped up better. This old lady says, you've awoken. You should be fine now. She'll eventually just kind of walk out of the room and leave you. Is there anything else you need, my dear?
No, thank you so much. Is Joseph here?
I'll grab him for you. And definitely Joseph will walk in there. He's kind of in a restful state. He's taken off like some of his armor. He's just kind of walking in there now. Say, glad you're all right. How are you feeling?
Much better. Thank you. You saved my life back there.
It's my job. I would only hope you give the king my recommendation when we return to England. It's my honor to serve you, princess.
Well, thank you. Are we to stay here? Where are we?
We are in a small farm to the west, not far from where we were when we were ambushed. But I imagine we should be halfway through Tiri. I'm not sure where we're going though. Do you
I
know where we're going from here?
I'm gonna be entirely honest. I don't know where we're going either. I thought my dad would give me more directions, and he didn't. I had really hoped that you would know. Um, I seem to have just been sent away, and so for now, I guess that's where we're going, just away.
Well, it's not not great. Hopefully, I'll have some guidance. I was told you would know what to do next, but
I'm sorry.
perhaps
I'm sorry, Joseph. I don't. Um, I really don't. Um, all I know is I don't want to stay in one place for too long if I'm not welcomed um, in Rivers. I'm not welcome in Riversdale anymore, and so I see it most prudent to go away. I'm so sorry.
it's
It's been
all
a
it's all
crazy 48 hours.
I it's all right, Cassie. It is my duty to serve you either way, of course. Perhaps it is our journey to find some knowledge, a way to help you to purify your honor, or perhaps we'll be given aid. My mission, I was told, we were to escape the castle and take solitude. This is as good a place, I think, as any for now.
It doesn't seem so discreet, but I suppose we should be in hiding. Um, I don't suppose I want people to know who I am. So you'll have to stop calling me princess.
At your command, Princess. Cassie. Should I call you Cassie?
Um, I'm known mostly as Cassandra. I think Cassie's okay. And I suppose we should have some kind of cover. Um, how do you feel about being my cousin?
Fine.
Very well. We
Right.
are. I don't suppose we can truly be poor farmers. Perhaps some lesser noble or merchants. How about that? Merchants. I look like a merchant,
Uh,
right? I can pass as a merchant. She kind of like looks down at herself.
kind
She's
of looks you both over.
like,
It's no, we could change our clothes, but my armor is a boon. I definitely seem a knight, and you a noble.
well, in that case, do you? Where is your family, Joseph?
My family is near Riversdale to the north, but we could head there if you would like.
No, my thought was simply, well, if I cannot appear less than some kind of lady, the sister of a knight might be considered a lady. Perhaps we fall back on you. I hate to take advantage, um, but perhaps you are a young knight and his sister.
A good idea. My family is from Havelbrook. If you call yourself uh, Cassandra from Havelsbrook, perhaps. Well, hmm.
I feel like my name might be too distinctive as the princess. Um, Perhaps I should go by a completely another name. Um,
You could use my sister's name, Sarah. Sarah
well,
of Havelsbrook is a real name.
that's very kind of you. I hate to steal entirely your sister's identity, but
I hadn't asked her, I won't lie.
um, but if you don't think it'll do any harm, I think that seems best.
I think it would be best. Then you could say you're my sister as well.
Yes. I'm your sister, Sarah of Hapless Brick.
Alternatively, we could try to find some peasant's garb and hide out here for a time. I'm not sure.
I feel like I want to get away further from Riversdale. I think I will feel safer. And though perhaps changing my clothes at least, might be of some good idea, I don't suppose that even a sister of a knight would have such finery. And I don't like. I imagine she's probably grabbed like one of her plainer dresses, but like it still has lace on it, which at this point probably has to be handmade by somebody far away. Like even her plainest of clothes are probably speak to her noble title.
Yeah. I would say you guys could definitely, try to get like a plainer, outerwear from some of the
Blend
houses
in a bit.
around here.
I think she's gonna call for the lady that has taken care of her, the herbalist. I don't suppose you'd find some way to trade this fine dress, and she kind of points at. I assume that like the air probably hasn't damaged her dress, so it's probably honestly essentially what I'm wearing right now, which is like this dark green dress. It's considered fairly like a plain of her things, but it's still very nice. And she's like, I don't suppose you could discreetly find a replacement for this dress of some plainer make?
I'll say, she's very, very helpful. Essentially, she's like, yeah, we can definitely find something. And just briefly, Joseph will barter with her, maybe give her some food or something. And it's pretty simple to get this cheaper piece of clothing with what you have already. So you can definitely have a nice new dress there or whatever you'd like.
Yeah, something nice, but certainly not something a princess. Trying to blend in with him, essentially.
I mean, it's something like super nice. I would say there's something decent though that actually looks like, um, kind of what you're going for. I would say, a Leicester noble perhaps could wear this once you add it to what you've already got. Like fancier accessories and stuff. So
I think
definitely look different.
That was what I was going for. And Cassie does have very long dark hair, so I think she's going to do her best to do what she can to disguise herself. So she's wearing these plainer clothes. I think she'll do her hair in what she's seen the lesser ladies do it. She probably like previously in her life has like had her hair very like done by servants and pinned and that kind of thing. Though she probably wouldn't have done that before she left. But I think she's gonna like okay, one long dark braid in the back, kind of like trying to match.
Go ahead. Probably was done up, and you probably just slept in it.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. So yeah, you can definitely change that and do kind of just more like a unstyled thing.
Trying to blend in as best she can. She probably knows very little of outside the castle, but she'd definitely do her best to blend in.
I would say overall these efforts are pretty successful. You look different than you did, but you do look like potentially a lower, noble, like you were saying, like possibly the sister of a knight. It works. It works pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, she's definitely, has good posture and speaks well. So, she can't get rid of that very easily.
Feel confident as well with your new titles. We should be able to, not that those bandits were necessarily after you. I don't know why
I don't suppose they were. I would rather not the rumors of the witch princess be attached to me.
I know these lands have fallen into some turmoil, and definitely if you guys go ahead and leave this establishment, you will see as you're walking through this small. There's probably a couple, cottages in this specific region. There's some, families who are sick. You see some like people out in like a chair that have like some boils or some pox. You don't really want to get too close, but you can tell there's some wildness here, and as well, the bandits have been cropping up recently. Things have not been going well overall. Poor crop harvests, I suppose, have turned some serfs to banditry. But yeah, you still want to head off into the west, was it?
Yes. I think at this point, um, she's had a minute to think. She's gotten some rest. She's not just running out into the night. And I think that kind of her thought process is that if she does find um, maybe a more populated city, that might be a better place to blend in, especially if she can pass for the Sister of a Knight. That might be some cover, and that she doesn't know what she'll do after that. But that finding a more populated place where she can blend in and isn't under such scrutiny might be a good idea. I think is
Yeah.
So I think she's going to look for a western city, further away, ideally, from the reach um, of the Pale Castle, and ideally somewhere where magic might be more accepted or at least overlooked.
Let's see here. So, I mean,
She's not going to try and keep doing it.
Yeah, I mean, Joseph will say we could head west as far as Redland, but to go beyond would be madness. There's a great war with the elves, the elven armies behind the Fire Mountain near Redland. But we could head that far.
Wise counsel, I suppose. I'd rather not get caught up on a battlefield. I've proven how good I am in a fight.
It'll take many days, of course, to get that far.
Are there no major cities between here and there?
There, I haven't actually been that way too far. I believe there are farms near Redland, but I think Redland is the only major city. There's other farms here in Terry we could make rest at.
I would like to find somewhere with a higher population. I'd rather not stick out as much if I can help it. I feel like anonymity is our friend here.
What's that?
I don't want to stick out. I'd like to find somewhere where we can not be the only nobles, I suppose. Gosh darn, living in the middle of nowhere.
Well, if that's the case, Redland and the Pale Castle are equal distance from here, east or west, as it were.
Well, I suppose we've already gone east, so we might as well continue this direction. And
well, you guys have gone west a little bit, right? Yeah.
Yes, we've gone west. So if we're west of Riversdale and Thierry, then headed east back to the Pale Castle, would be backtracking to a certain extent, I'd imagine.
Yeah. And you're not exactly sure how far Redland is based on your current map.
Yeah, it's not even on my map. I just know it's west.
It's the only situation. Joseph just seemed to say they were equidistant. So yeah, you can definitely continue west if you'd like.
Yeah, I think if you would allow me to make a history check or anything, I think that, like I said, with Cassie thinking a little bit clearer, she recognizes that her magic isn't just going to go away. It hasn't. She's been trying. And she would like to find some way. She's not thinking like, oh, I want to find a great wizard to learn from, but more of a like, I want to find some way to push this deep inside of me so it never has to come out again. Would you allow me to make some kind of history check to like maybe think of some location or rumor of people or a person where she, even if they're not specifically magically trained, but some way she thinks she might be able to control what's going on with her? Honestly, like even just a drug lord that says he sells a drug that makes you so you are not aware of yourself, honestly, at this point. She'd be willing to go comatose if she stopped hurting people. Searching for some kind of hope.
Honestly, I am hesitant to give you a check because there's not a super big payoff. So I'll just give you everything.
That's fair.
You have like the herbalist who you spoke with that one time tried to get some things for a potion. You did find that potion in a
Is that
in.
remind me? Did
It's
I
not a
get?
potion. It's like I can send it to you.
Isn't
But
like
it's
a truth
basically,
serum?
yeah, it's ingredients to make a truth serum and instructions. And you found some of the ingredients, but you're missing a few.
Yeah.
So the
Okay.
herbalist helped you. You found that in a book from this
Mhm.
priest, um, but that priest actually doesn't necessarily work at the wooden castle anymore. It wasn't a big deal, priests come and go. But there's the druidic people you've heard of. That is your probably the only bet you have. You know that herbalist wasn't super knowledgeable about magic. They seemed like,
Just an herbalist
uh,
mostly.
yeah.
As
So I
mo-
mean, the druidic people are known for being sympathetic with magic. That's why they aren't part of society.
and would she know generally where to find these druidic people?
You
Like,
think actually, yeah, you would say I'll let you make a check for that one actually. And then the only other thing I would say is, you met the king and prince of Redland. They don't seem necessarily very favorable about magic, contrary to that weird dark wizard dream you had. Redland is just the same as the Pale Castle as far as like magic is outlawed.
okay, well that was a nat one to find the druids. So, shot in the
I
dark.
will give you, you have heard they lived in woodlands, and they might be travelers, so they might not be in one place.
So, hopefully, essentially the kind of thing you like hopefully run into.
Mm.
Um, so her suitor was from Redland, right?
Yes, that was
Okay,
like
so
Nerwin.
Nerwin's from Redland, so she definitely probably doesn't want to go there. They were like they would recognize her, I think is what comes to mind. Like I don't think she's ever been.
Yeah, the prince would recognize you. Yeah.
Yeah, so like I don't think anyone from the Pale Castle has probably seen her, or at least like not a lot of people have seen her face, whereas like the leaders of Redland know who she is. So even if it is backtracking, it seems like headed to like maybe through the woods trying to find these druidic people, but kind of in the direction of the Pale Castle, perhaps. Hate to backtrack.
Whatever you think is best. The uh, the only other thing I'd add, like thinking about, the royalty from Redland, if it's more than a day's travel, you imagine not much time has passed actually since you did your coming of age festival and went to bed. So honestly, those folk like Nerwin, they probably are arriving home around this time.
Yeah, so they're like on the road or just off the road. So
So I mean,
yeah,
they're probably a day's travel ahead of you, or 2 days travel ahead of you. So you imagine they got to Redland recently, or something like that. Travel takes time. So these are things you're
yeah.
probably thinking.
In that case, I think it's best if we search on our way to the Pale Castle. I don't want to make you uncomfortable, Joseph. I know that certainly I'm not comfortable with this idea of magic. Um, I want it gone. I want nothing to do with it, but it seems to have crept into my life. And so I believe our plan of attack is we will go to the Pale Castle. We will head to the city, and on our way, I would like to search for some druids. Not to counsel with them, I don't trust them and their magic, but perhaps to find some way to stifle this. If I can make a life for myself somewhere in the capital, I think it would be best. Um, Perhaps to never return to Riversdale, but to at least no longer bring violence to my family.
Of course, our quest to purify. This shall be done. I'll suit up, and we will be off. He starts getting his suit ready and all. Um, so yeah, I mean, you guys can definitely head off that direction. There are trails that lead off. Eventually, you'll get up to Pale Castle. Joseph seems to know the way, so he kind of leads you. And you will be going through eventually the Dale Wood at this rate.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to say that as you guys, make it through all the farmlands, the day, it is getting later into the evening. You pass kind of another farmland and there's a stint of woods. There's a bit more farmlands not too far off, as Joseph has told you just a moment ago. He says, through here, it's getting later, but we have a few more hours to travel here. So you guys head off into some woods here in the Dale Wood. There's kind of a scent of evening pines and kind of maybe some pear trees in this region. But eventually, as you are headed through, I'll go ahead and have you make a perception check.
That's a 6.
Yeah, so actually, you don't really notice anything at first, but you do hear this kind of blood-curdling sound behind you momentarily. Like, turning around, you guys are both startled to see what is essentially this small, like, not quite human-sized, not small though, medium-sized, like raptor, like a dinosaur essentially, kind of in the woodlands there. He's like, yeah. He's kind of charging at you guys with. He's got like his two little claws and sharp teeth. His jaw wide, and yeah, this reptilian figure. Again, Joseph will say like, "Stand back! I can take this beast." And I will say though, ever since you had your dream about this dark wizard, you've had a strange feeling. But now, seeing this imminent threat before you, it kind of manifests into something. And I'm just going to throw this out there. It's going to be what is called the chill touch, but it's this spell that somehow is in your mind. You feel like you will be able to cast it, but it is a dark thought.
Is it a touch spell then?
No, it's actually not.
It's okay.
Kind of.
That's ideal for someone with 6 hit points. Range touch is not great.
Yes, you feel you can send out some evil tendril to attack your enemy, essentially, is what you kind of think. I guess everybody make an initiative.
Yeah, probably. 3.
Straight up, you rolled the best. Go first.
I rolled the best. Oh, that is so sad.
We've got a 1, a 2, and a 3. Very convenient.
Amazing. Honestly, initiative is only as good. Like, it's really a curve. We're grading on a curve.
It's true.
Cassie is hesitant. It's magic after all. But I think she does kind of stretch out her hand and kind of call on this seemingly dark power within her. This is a scary looking creature, and she's scared of what happened last time, getting separated in the dark from her escort and wandering around the woods late at night was really scary. And even though this isn't another pack of bandits, she doesn't want to be separated again. She wants it to be over quickly, and so I think she reaches out and attempts to cast the spell.
So, as you do this, it seems to work effortlessly. You do have this image, though, of this dark sorcerer who you saw, this hook-nosed, lanky man in his, dark blue robes. Seems to lock eyes with you again only momentarily. His image flashes before you, but yes, this spell seems to go off. It's actually chill touch, so it's kind of like this ghostly projection, kind of like a tendril, as you imagined, but more like a ghostly figure that reaches out and kind of seems to chill this enemy where it is, and seems to damage him. You can roll like a d4 actually for damage. But yeah, this is a very strange experience, not similar at all to the magic you've experienced. It doesn't seem even like you're controlling this like your light spells. It is just an eerie spell that you're casting, as it
Like
were.
I'm being worked through instead of doing it myself, kind of thing.
Yeah, that's definitely how it feels. Not the same.
Um,
Not the same as before.
I did roll 4 damage. It's the first truly high roll of the game, comparatively.
That honestly, that is a lot of damage. You can actually describe, if you will, this is like a dark, chilling touch. It's like a mage hand, but
Yeah.
an icy hand. So you're going to deal a lot of damage, though, and it's also a shadowy, ghosty effect. If you want to describe that at all, it stuns this raptor and kind of definitely freezes him, and it hurts him.
I would imagine that like it starts out as kind of like a frost near her fingertips, like as if like just like a wisp, and as it gets further away from herself, like it goes from being almost like a transparent blue mist as it takes like almost stripes of darkness through it. I'd imagine like a marbled effect between like this blue ice and this blackness. And I actually imagine it as what is it? It's remember like in Lord of the Rings, or I think it happens in Narnia too, where like the water takes shape, and like in Lord of the Rings it's the horses coming down the river.
Yeah.
In Narnia it's the river god coming up and crushing people. I think it's that kind of vibe where like it looks shapeless, but like the longer you look, like after you look at it for a second, you see that it is in fact, it looks like some kind of ghostly hand that reaches out and essentially like grabs this thing by its neck and just kind of squeezes, is how I imagine
Yeah.
it, just kind of like
Darth
choking
Vader.
it until yeah, like essentially it's cold evil Darth Vader.
Yeah, at this time, Joseph the Knight was just drawing his sword and charging at this guy as well. So together, you guys kind of strike it, and he makes a nasty cut through it, and it seems a bit frozen, kind of shattering as well as just like piercing its scales and flesh within. This thing seems dead. You defeated it. Joseph screams like, "Yeah!" And then Terrence, seeing this, be like, "Oh my goodness, what on earth is this ice?"
And she's just kind of like still
And
holding her hand up. They're like, I, 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 I'm sorry. Um, I didn't want it to get any closer. I don't know what that was. I'm sorry, Joseph. I didn't mean to scare you.
I'm all right. Suppose this is part of our quest. Heard strange things have been happening. Are you all right?
That didn't feel like. I'm sorry, you know nothing of magic, but it didn't feel like the ones before have. I would rather get this thing purged from me sooner rather than later.
Of course. Well, we seem safe then. Let's be off. And you guys are able to set off through the woods and eventually make it to kind of just another small group of settlements, a farming village that's part of Riversdale, just kind of miles off. Or Thierry, it's just in this Thierry is part basically just the farms all around Riversdale. So essentially, it's both. And you guys probably want to make a pack for the night and call it a session in this town. Anything else you want to do?
Uh, no, I think that's pretty much it for now. Uh, Cassie is feeling better, but I mean, creeped out is the word that comes to mind. Very creeped out by something she herself has done, and is more eager than ever to find some way to suppress her own magic. She wants nothing to do with this dark feeling.
Indeed. Well, yeah, that was a fun session though. Thanks for
Yes.
playing. I don't know if there's anything else you want to do. You could probably either just stay in a house for somebody's goodwill or find a little inn here. Um, Probably not at really an inn. So yeah, you're just probably going to be staying, at some peasant's house, which should be fine. give them something, some food, and they'll be like, oh, stay over here.
Well, I just spelled all of my dice, so I think our session's definitely
No.
over. That was all of my dice. We're gonna
Oh
go clean
no.
that.
Oh, actually, do you want to show off that map real quick?
Oh, yes, I do. Let me turn on some light.
But
Because
yeah,
it looks
thanks for
so
playing.
cool.
Good job. Oh, yeah. Now you guys can know where we're at if we're watching this video later.
I don't know how well it is actually, like, you can
Looks
see
good.
it, but it's really cool. I may or may not have plans to make cool letters and that kind of thing later today if I have time.
Nice.
No hints for our other campaigns. But I am much inspired.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I often will make like letters and stuff too.
It's so fun.
Yeah. It's
I have to
easier in
find a.
person. Don't have to send them out. But I'm
Oh
glad
my
I got
gosh.
some stuff to you.
Right? I'm really missing in-person sessions. So.
Yeah. I want to use my gold. I normally keep track of gold physically. Like, here, you get some gold.
I really like the idea, and I also think it's a lot better for roleplay because I think there's a certain amount of, like, for instance, I would be very vocal and kind of like yelling, especially when DMing.
Yeah.
And I don't want to like peak the mic. I don't want to scream into somebody's earbuds. Those kinds of things are considerations, and so I try to make myself a little quieter so I'm not doing that kind of thing.
Yeah, true.
But
But I will
movement.
still keep track of your gold. I should set out a purse of 10 gold for you. So
Oh, you totally can. Have it
Um,
person on your end. I have the maps.
yeah.
You have the gold. We'll just split my inventory.
Well, heck yeah. I guess I'll go ahead and stop this recording.